Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. It is a cold and windy and overcast day today, and it's kind of drizzling. So on this cold day, I've got a fun project on the go in the greenhouse. I've got my Snow Queen Hibiscus out today, and today is going to be a bit of a frozen theme. This isn't the first time I've had a frozen theme on the channel. Back in 2015, we made some really cool snow sculptures.
It's 2015, it's a new year. I'm excited to get working on bonsai trees.
I figured my Snow Queen Hibiscus needed a Snow Queen to stand beside it, so I found a 3D model of Elsa on the internet. There it is. So it comes in about 7 pieces. The hair is a separate piece, the body, the legs, the dress comes in 2 parts, and then the hands, you can pose the hands, so they're separate also. So I've put in a 3D print request, sent the model files off to the makerspace at the library, and hopefully, someday, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll get my model of Elsa back and she can accompany the Snow Queen Hibiscus plant. The model has been printed thanks to Eric and Joe at the library. Let's have a look at it. Here's a look at the model, and as you can see, it took several tries to get some of the pieces right. It's a tricky thing to 3D print, and that's why I'm thanking Eric and Joe, because they did a really good job on making this model. You can see the part of the dress at the back. The first time it was too thin and it didn't print properly. The second time they added a base support down here, and it printed quite nicely. It's very shimmery. I actually really like that one. And then they printed a thicker version, which is a little more cloudy looking, but it's very strong. This is the part of the dress that turned out fine. The legs turned out fine. I guess there's some failed attempts at legs here. There's 2 hands, one there and one there. There's 2 feet. So I think, you know, the legs were printed separately and then somehow they got it printed all together, which is good. And then there's 2 torsos here. There's one with supports. Oh, this one, the arm came, the model must have shifted and the arm's funny on that one. And this is the good one here. So I've got a bit of sorting of the parts to do, and then I'll clean them up and assemble them. But this is, it's going to look good. I got them to print it in the clear filament, which doesn't turn out clear. You can do 2 things. You can sand them and buff them, and you'll get them like almost crystal clear. Or you can get an epoxy that you can paint on top and get that nice and smooth, and that should help the translucency of it. But I don't know if you'd ever get it really clear because of the round filaments. So I don't know. I've seen people 3D print lenses. They made their own telescope and things like that. But I kind of like it cloudy like this. And then I want to add a bit of transparent kind of color to the model when it's done. So it kind of looks like it's half ice and half human. Mark from the KW Bonsai Society made me this really cool pot, which also fits into the frozen theme. It's kind of like a stained glass pot made with real glass, and it's got sort of frosted panels, clear panels. It's got drainage holes in the bottom here, 3 drainage holes, and it's really cool. I think you'll be able to see the roots grow inside the pot, and you can certainly tell when it becomes pot bound. So I'm not going to plant my Snow Queen Hibiscus in here, but I am going to plant cuttings in here and get them going. I'm going to start assembling the model of Elsa. You can download this 3D file for free from Thingiverse. I'll put the parts that I don't need back in the bag, the sections of leg here, the torso with the shifted arm, I'll put that back in. I don't need the feet here. I've got the 2 hands, the hair, the body, and the dress. Oh, I don't need this one. And I've got to decide which I like better out of these 2. I do like the shimmery effect on this lighter one. It's really cool. So I think I'm going to try using this one. And then I'll put this as a spare. So there I have it. Those are all my pieces I need to assemble. I'm going to leave the supports on the feet so the figure stands upright a little more easily. That will go on there. This goes on behind here. The torso on there. The hair, quite the fancy hair. It's got the braid. Yeah, a really good detailed model. So I'm going to have to remove the supports. I think I'll start here. I've got to remove the supports that are on the figure here that, you know, hold the arms in place when you're 3D printing. A lot of them can be broken away. That sound you hear in the background, that's a machine that they use to clean the sewers out. It's like a big vacuum cleaner. It's been going all day today. Very pleasant. Not. I've got a pair of little clippers that I'm going to try and break the supports away with. I might need a knife. These things are good for little fine pieces, but I don't think I can use them for... I can't get around some of the larger supports. No, I'll have to use a knife. All right, I've got my hobby knife here. I'm going to try and cut away these supports. I'm just trying to see how the arm is. Okay, it's just flat. There we go. Got the one arm loose there. This one has quite a few supports on it. You can see all the supports attached to it. Yeah, there's a V shape on the waist here that fits into a V shape here. So I am going to have to remove these flat plates here. That's too bad, but a lot of these supports you can break away with your hands. Okay, here I go. I'm gonna have to remove... Oh, that's not gonna be easy. Well, let's do the ones up here first. Wow. I don't think that's gonna be that easy either. They're very firmly attached. There's one off the ear. Now I gotta get this one. There, I got that one. That one came off. That's looking good. Look at that. Let's do it one at a time, slowly and carefully. The sun's coming out. It's kind of nice. I didn't bring any tropical trees out today because it was really cloudy and I didn't think there's much light in here, but now it's, you know, a little better. Just got to keep separated. Oh, good thing I have my glasses on. I'd be hit in the face with these flying parts. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. The head just came off. Oh no, I did not want to do that. Oh, okay. Well, plan B. I'm gonna have to glue the head back on. Oh my goodness. I did not expect that. Boy, oh boy. Looks like there's a pin on the top for the hair to hold the hair in place. So I think that'll be my first job today, is to glue the head back on before it rolls off the table and I lose it. That should be enough glue. Make sure I don't get the head on backwards. Okay, that's got to be good now, right? I'm going to leave it upright. We'll put that... Is that going to tip over? Probably. I'm going to put that leaning up against the pot here. Like that. Okay. Okay. So everything's going perfectly. Not. Okay, let's see what's going on with the legs. There's a bit of a piece there. Okay. So the next part, I've got this dress. There's a few hairs from the 3D printing here I gotta remove. Let me just run the knife down there. So this has the V here, so I've got to remove this top part. And there is some supports in here if I can get in there. Like that, and like that. There, that came off. So that is good. Now I think there's a bump there, I got to remove that. Okay, so that is ready for gluing. There's a few hairs at the back here from the 3D printing too. Some people just take a little blowtorch and they torch it and the hairs just kind of shrivel up and go away. Okay, so that's good. So the legs, I think, are ready to be glued up in the dress like that. Now it's quite possible, because this is printed with clear plastic, you could have a light underneath it, kind of lighting the model up at nighttime, which would look pretty cool. Okay, that's got glue on the legs. I can't, well, I can reach in there a bit to put some on there, but not much. Okay, so here I go. I'm lowering this down. So I'm just going to put a little pressure on it until the glue sets. It says on the glue package to hold the pieces together for 10 to 15 seconds and allow 24 hours for the cement to fully harden. I still have to cut away these supports under the torso here, or pull them apart or something, so I can glue this to the body. Oh, there goes the head. The glue's still wet, no wonder. You know what? I'm going to glue that later. I'm going to get this separated first here. I'm going to be 3D printing some lanterns for my cityscape penging soon. I've just got to get in and model them up, which I don't think will be too bad. I'll look at some reference photos and come up with a model that can be 3D printed in one piece. There, I got a good chunk of the supports off there. So that'll be kind of fun, making some 3D printable lanterns, and I'll put that on Thingiverse so everyone can print them out for their penging. Oh, there we go. The support just popped off really nicely. Look at that. That came out really good. So that sits on top of here like that. Oh, that fits really nicely. Look at that. I'm going to do the hair next. I think I'll glue the hair to the head. So here's the hair. So I've got to separate it from this backing plate, and it's pretty tough to tell what's a support and what's not. That was a support. So there's one support gone. I can hear it raining outside again. Good thing we're in here in the greenhouse. You know, when I get that new glass greenhouse up, I don't think I'll ever leave it. I'll be in there 24 hours a day. Okay, I'm getting some more supports off the hair here. Just trying to pull this backing plate off. There we go. Here's my head. That goes, a pin goes into there. Let's see if I can get that in. Oh, like that. Well, that's looking pretty good. That goes on top of here. And the hair can kind of help support the head, I think. Yeah. So I can glue that all at once. The hands have some weird support on them that I've got to take off. And I got to be careful with the fingers that I don't break those off. There we go. So far so good. Break the support off here. So the support is gone. Now I just have to get rid of this base. So I'll try pulling it off. There, that came off really easily. So there's one hand. You can see it, 5 fingers. Turned out pretty good. Okay, I think I want to glue the hair on next. On the pin there. Okay, here I go. So we'll just bring that in. And that is it. Yeah, that went together really nicely. Okay, let that dry for a bit. Now, the next thing I can do is I can attach the torso to the dress here. So I'll do that. I'll get my super glue out. And I can put this together now, because it did fit really nicely. Is that about 15 seconds? Probably not. Okay, I'm setting it down carefully. Making sure my hands aren't sticking to it. There. Okay, that will be the next thing to go on, is the head. I'm going to let that dry for a bit first. So I'm going to let it dry for maybe a good 10-15 minutes, I think, before I even touch it. Otherwise, I think it's all going to fall apart on me. I've got this nice chunk of white marble here. That makes a nice base for this tree. Kind of looks like ice and snow. So that'll be a really nice base to display the tree on in the future. So I'm going to be pruning this tree up today. I'll try planting the cuttings. I hope it's warm enough out here to, keep them growing, but I don't know. So let me get out my tools and we'll prune the tree up. All right, here I go with the pruning. So I'm not sure which is the front of the tree. Let me see here. I think it's this way. It kind of comes towards me a bit. So this branch off to the right-hand side is getting too long. I have a new shoot here. There's a new bud behind here too. So I can prune it at any length. I do want to keep it fairly short because it's getting quite vigorous. So I'm thinking I'm going to take it back to here. So here I go, like that. This other branch here to the left-hand side is also getting very long and vigorous. So I've got a bud here and here. So I'm going to take it off right here, like that. Out back, I've got another strong branch coming up right here. So I want to prune it so it keeps fanning outwards. So I'm going to take it back to here, like that. And then I've got a strong vertical one coming off that branch. And I don't want that becoming the leader. I want to get some vigor out of that. So I've got to take that quite far back too. So I'm going to take it back to here, like that. Now, this one is still quite vigorous, so I'm going to take some of the leaves off of it, and you'll see why they call it the Snow Queen Hibiscus. See how it's a variegated leaf? It gets all that kind of white edges on it, so that's why they call it the Snow Queen. So I'm going to take this one off also. There's one hanging down here I'll take off. And I think I'll take this one off also. At the base here, I have a sucker coming up around the back here. I don't want a multi-trunk thing, so I'm going to take that off. Like that. So that is it. That's pruning up the Snow Queen Hibiscus. Got it back in shape and looking more like a tree. Here's a shot of it a little more close up. Yeah, looking good. So on this little cutting, I've got the roots sorted out when I repotted it. I've got the top structure underway. So it's just going to take time and just continual development on this. And I think it'll turn into a fantastic little bonsai in the future. And it flowers, it gets those kind of pinkish flowers on it. So yeah, really cool. I like it. Okay, here I go. Hopefully everything won't fall apart on me. It looks like it might take a little longer than I expected for the glue to dry. So I've got everything set there. So I've just got to let it dry. So I might have to come back in like an hour or two or something like that. It just, I don't know, the glue's just not setting very quickly. But it's looking good. The model's looking quite good. I will have a Snow Queen for my Snow Queen Hibiscus. I've come back an hour later and I checked on the model and the glue is still in kind of a gel stage. So it still hasn't fully hardened. So I think I'm going to have to leave it overnight. I tried picking it up and the head fell off again. So I glued it back on. This time I'll let the glue dry overnight and then it should be good and hard by tomorrow. I'm going to finish up today by planting my cuttings in this pot that Mark made. I'll place a screen in the bottom of the pot and add a base layer of soil. All right, here I go with my base layer of soil. I'll fill it right up and then stick the cuttings in the soil. These are very young cuttings, so I'm not sure if they'd take. If they were hardwood cuttings, they would root for sure, but if they were a little more mature, but we'll see how they do. There's no harm in trying. You can always pull them out and replace them with other cuttings later on. Okay, so here's my pieces. They've gone a little limp. So I want to cut off these lower leaves. I'm going to recut my point there. And I'm going to cut off these other leaves too, leaving just the tip like that. And then I'll stick it in the soil. And I'll plant it fairly deeply. You don't want them drying out. So here's the second cutting now. Cut off all these lower leaves. And the large upper ones. And I'll just leave that growing tip like that. And then that can go in the soil like that. I got one more here. So again, I'll remove all these leaves. That reduces the load on the cutting. Doesn't have any roots yet, so. Okay, and that can go in the soil also. Like that. Now I got to give it a good watering. Make sure the soil is good and soaked. The cuttings will need lots of humidity, and I do have this little mini greenhouse that I could clean up and put on top of it, so I think I'll do that, and that'll keep the humidity around the cuttings. I've got the greenhouse all cleaned up, so let's put it on top of the cuttings. That fits nicely. So that should keep the cuttings nice and humid, and hopefully they'll root and grow. Today I got my Elsa partially built, I got cuttings on the go, and I pruned up my Snow Queen Hibiscus. It's always fun creating bonsai with a bit of a theme to it, in this case the Snow Queen. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.